The kingdom of magic is full of incredible mages and flying dragons, but deep in the forests lives a mushroom-head boy who defies all laws of logic and physics too. We see a lad benching tons at remarkable speed. Seems like he uses cream puffs as his post-workout meal. Regro Burndead is the adopted father of Mash Burndead. He prefers staying in the forest, away from the people. Regro talks about how he has found a way to combat stress at his age, but that's when Mash breaks the door, and breaks his father's stress too, saying he doesn't remember if the door said push or pull. Mash just broke the hinges off the door. Mash realized his mistake and tries to put the door back in its place, but makes it worse by shattering it in pieces. Mash asks Regro why all his training sessions are just physical ones. The father thinks about how Mash has zero magic and how he is different from others, but then just ignores his question, saying it's a story for another time. He gets up and leaves for some work, and asks Mash to follow the rules, where he can never venture into the city among people. As he leaves, Mash reads a food pamphlet and bolts toward the city. Mash does this out of sheer hunger for cream puffs. He watches how everyone uses magic in daily activities. He asks for cream puffs and hands bent coins to the owner. The man is astounded by the sight of it. Mash takes them back and fixes them, which shocks the owner. As he is about to leave with his delicacy, his robe's hood is pushed back by the breeze. Everyone stares at Mash, as he has no magic mark on his face. We see the Divine Visionary has been awarded to Rain Ames, which is the highest honor for the strongest magician at Easton Magic Academy. We see a man reading a newspaper talking about Rain. There's also a man who has been bound by this guy. He is tied up and beaten for just some small theft. He asks for forgiveness, and as the man is about to use his wand, the phone rings and he is informed that there is an unmarked brat roaming in the city. Mash is walking around, wondering why everyone stared at him. He thinks about his old man and says he is sorry, but it was worth it for the cream puffs. He crashes into a drunk policeman. The police officer is drunk and stressed, ranting about his job. Mash offers him cream puffs, but he thrashes them, saying if he ate one, that would be an indirect kiss. Mash grabs his clothes and rips them off, leaving the guy in shock. The man earlier, called Brad, arrives at the scene and asks the drunk policeman to quit the drama. Brad stares at Mash, who is having his cream puff, and realizes he's the unmarked guy. As soon as he walks toward him, Regro turns into the Flash and carries Mash away from there. He apologizes for his son's antics. Brad then sends a magical bird to track them. We see Regro shouting at Mash for breaking the rules and entering society. Mash apologizes and looks distraught. Regro says it's fine and asks him to train harder as a punishment. Mash hands him the cream puffs and they walk toward the door. Regro is scared by this sight and opens the door for Mash. Regro is shocked at how his teenage son Mash is unlike any other teenager. He understands why Mash is curious about the outside world. They had spent their whole lives in the forest hiding, but now the magic police have got information about him. Regro notices the magic bird, and suddenly Brad breaks through the door with two other policemen. He asks for the Magicless boy. On the other side, we see Mash in all his glory, training like a superhuman. Mash decides to return home for his post-workout cream puffs. As he reaches the door, he hears Brad talking to him about Regro. Brad is talking about how they have been getting rid of magicless people throughout history. He is giving rough treatment to the old man. Brad is relentlessly beating him up with spells. Regro refuses to give up on Mash. Regro thinks about his past, where he was a weak magician and unwanted in most places. He was going to off himself by jumping off the roof, but that's when he heard the cries of a child. He picks up the baby and notices he is unmarked. This makes him feel closer to the child, as he may face the same fate of the society as the weak Regro. He realizes they are the same, and he has a reason to live. Regro took an oath that he would go against the world to take care of this boy. He screams, "Run, Mash!" Brad asks the other two to search for him quickly, and beats the hell out of the old man. Brad is about to put the old man to sleep with his spell, but that's when Mash breaks through the door, punching one of the men. Now that's how a shonen MC enters the scene. He grabs the other guy, tears his uniform again, and slaps him. Mash says he couldn't leave because they are a family, and now he is going to send these guys down to hell. Brad laughs, as he thinks someone with zero magic can't affect him. Brad uses a spell so strong it can drive away a dragon. It is launched toward Mash, but we see him stand there unscathed. Mash just slaps the spell away with his finger. Brad is shocked and doesn't understand how Mash escaped it. Brad launches another, stronger spell, but that is slapped away too. Mash plays volleyball with the next one, and then he goes on to juggle the spell balls. Then he turns into Prime Neymar with those dribbling skills, using the spell balls. Mash picks up his old man's wand and says he is going to use it. Brad creates a shield with his wand, but that's when Mash launches the wand like a baseball. The wand breaks through the barrier and hurts Brad. He is taken aback by the new skill. Mash says, "If you threaten my family again, then I will end you." Regro says his training was just for defense and wonders how he did all those things. Regro knows that they are exposed to the police now. Brad proposes a deal where Mash has to become the Divine Visionary by joining the Magic Academy. This is how the people will accept him too. Brad will have the money and prestige that comes with it. Regro doesn't trust him one bit. Then Brad says if they deny, the whole magic country will chase them down till the end. Mash thinks about it for a second and says, "You got a deal." Regro is upset with his decision and tells him it's a magic school. Mash says he will be fine, as his goals are different and he wants them to live in peace. Regro cries about how good his son is. Mash enters the Easton Magic Academy, and this is where his crazy journey starts. We see a glimpse of the Grand Easton Magic Academy, where the entrance exams aren't for the weakest, and only the top 3% make it to the next round. Only the people with super magical prowess are selected. Lucci is checking on the new kids for the exam. He wants the best ones to make it, and that's when he notices someone pumping iron in the field. That's our boy Mash, sitting on the invisible chair, reading about his protein intake. Lucci sees the old man and Brad hiding behind Mash. His father wonders if Mash would be okay in the midst of mages. Brad has made a mark on his face which would make him look like one of them. Lucci thinks to himself that no slacker like him would pass the exam anyway. Mash, chewing on his cream puff, says he will pass the exam no matter what. Claude Lucci makes a grand fiery entrance and says that he will be the one looking after the exams. We see the students admiring Lucci for being one of the youngest and best mages. But Mash wonders if it was hot to enter from a fire. Lucci says he will definitely fail this idiot. Lucci uses his spells to set up the examination hall outside, but Mash is unimpressed, as he feels they could have just taken them all to the classroom. Lucci is annoyed by Mash's nonchalant behavior, but he is calm and feels someone like him won't pass the exams. We see the words on the question paper moving around in a crazy order. They have to use magic spells to bring them into order. Mash asks the words to get back in place kindly. Then he breaks the pen and scares the words back into their place. This guy literally scared the crap out of mere words. That's a new kind of shonen MC. Lucci is shocked at how well he put the words in order. Then we see Mash lifting a boulder with his magic, but that's just Mash using his thumb to lift it. This guy could play the magician at kids' birthday parties. Then he turns into Prime Jesus and runs on water, shocking everyone. All the students are in awe of him. Lucci is surprised at how someone like Mash could make it through. The next test is to go through the maze without getting caught in traps. We see a girl called Lemon, who asks Mash if she could join him as a team. Mash hesitates at first, then agrees to become a team. We see Lemon getting caught in all kinds of goofy traps, and Mash says they have to pass the test quicker. Lemon casts a spell on Mash, which binds him in cuffs. She says there's a reason she has to keep him away from finishing. Mash knows he was being fooled, and breaks the metal cuffs with his inhuman power. Then he runs away from her. A sphinx kind of monster arrives toward Lemon, asking her to solve a riddle. It snatches away her wand. Her legs turn to jelly as she faces this weirdo monster. She thinks it's her karma for fooling Mash a while ago. She apologizes to the mushroom head. The sphinx monster is about to attack Lemon, and that's when Mash goes all Saitama, saving her. Mash says they might have similar reasons to deceive people. Time is running out, and if Mash and Lemon doesn't make it through the finish line, they will be disqualified. Lucci is happy that Mash isn't anywhere near the finish line. Lemon was hired by him to keep Mash stuck in the maze. That's dirty work, sensei. But then we hear loud thudding noises. Everyone is wondering about the reason for it. The walls are a meter thick, and magic spells won't break them. But Saitama's long-lost cousin has other plans, and power levels, right? Mash finishes the test on time as he walks through the thick walls of the maze with his sheer arrogant strength. The Dumbledore of Mashle is curious about the powerless Harry Potter of this anime. The other students say it's cheating to pass this way. They ask him to go home, but that's what Mash wants to do. He just wants to be home with his old man and eat cream puffs. Lemon exposes Lucci and says he asked her to stop Mash. She did it because she comes from a poor family. She says how Mash saved her and said, "Marry me." Mash doesn't remember saying anything like that though. Seems like there was a cute misunderstanding when Mash offered to piggyback her through the finish line. Lemon is enjoying her own delusional story. Lucci says there's nothing wrong with failing students he doesn't like, and puts down Lemon by abusing her parents. Claude Lucci uses his magic, and says he will fail them both. Being one of the best mages in the magic world, no one can stop him. He wonders if they could. That's when Mash breaks his wand, saying the sensei is going too far. Lucci is angry as hell, and that's when Dumbledore's doppelganger, Headmaster Wahlberg, stops the scene and says they will proceed with the final round. The interview. He will be the one in charge of the exams from there on. He asks Lucci to see him in his office. Lucci seems to be soiling his pants after that stare from the headmaster. With his spells, he chooses Mash as the first student for the interview. Mash answers that he chose the academy to live in peace with his family. The other teachers think the answer is stupid. The headmaster then asks why he saved the girl, knowing he would fail to complete on time. Mash says he doesn't like to live with regrets. The headmaster is amused by his powers and how his brain works. He then asks Mash what he would do if he was faced with a creature that is stronger than him. We see the insane aura that the headmaster holds. He wonders what Mash would do when he faces him in a battle. The headmaster's spell is eerie and dangerous. Mash wonders what the hell is going on. The spell transfers the person's most loved soul into a doll. That's when we see Mash's dad faint. We know his soul was transferred. If the knife goes through the doll, the loved one would never return. Mash punches the knife and hurts his hand. The headmaster laughs, saying, "I'm stronger than you right now," and wonders what Mash would do in a situation like this. Mash surprises everyone by grabbing the knife from its point. He believes that something so huge can't be out forever. This is an endurance test. The headmaster believes power should only be used to save humans. He believes in protecting the weak and regulating the strong. He talks about noblesse oblige, one's capacity as a human being. He believes Mash has a kind heart and possesses that capacity. He then ends his spell. The headmaster apologizes and says he was testing Mash. The mushroom boy is fine with it. Mash says if it comes to facing the headmaster, he would beat him to a pulp with his fist. The teacher staff are appalled by his statement, but Dumbledore is amused. He welcomes Mash to the Easton Magic Academy. Good news is that the old man returns to his body, and Mash passes the exams. In the classroom, Sensei teaches how to open locks with magic. Mash just breaks the lock, but the teacher is tired of him and asks him to use magic. Mash says random words, and the students find him a weirdo. So here comes the Draco Malfoy of Mashle, staring at Mash through the door with his lads. Finn Ames is searching for his room, and hopes he doesn't have to share it with Mash. He finds his room without a door, and Mash is standing there with it in his hands. They both introduce themselves, but then Mash goes on to introduce his muscle groups. Finn finds it very weird, but offers to help Mash with anything he can understand. His goal is to be a little distant from him too. Mash pops the question and asks Finn how one can become the Divine Visionary. Finn says one has to collect gold coins throughout the academic year. Based on the performance, they are handed out gold, silver, and bronze coins by the teachers. But throughout this, they need to have good grades or they might get expelled. Mash thinks that's very brutal. Finn feels that Mash might be sent back home soon, and he has to bear with him for a few months. Finn says he shares the same goal of becoming the Divine Visionary, and they should give it their best. Mash finds Finn a good guy and offers him his favorite delicacy, the cream puffs.